time, two, it might take money, or some combination of both.
We did see commodity prices do quite well overnight. Copper particularly in focus. There's some supply concerns we're hearing helping to boost that. Let's get some more on all of the latest moving commodity markets. Peter McGuire joining us from NG Farah here in the studio. Peter,
good morning,
great
Bridie.
to see you there.
Good morning, Carson.
Tell us about what's been rumbling that copper price when it comes to a tragedy in that sector. You know, that obviously is going to put the supply story on the back foot.
Yeah.
For how long and who might pick up the slack?
Well, first off, you've got to understand that, you know, when you're dealing in something as rare as copper, you've certainly got miners and underground, and we've had a cave in there, and of course, tragedy of 28 miners dying. The Indonesian government have come out and said they'd like to close that for 3 months while investigative work and, of course, risk analysis, and then put together, you know, and find and look at the findings from that. Possibilities of even a force majeure, but it is in the Papua province in Indonesia. And that all shows or demonstrates the sensitivity with the mining industry. And when you're talking about underground, and remembering that, like coal or many of the base metals, the easy stuff has been found. Let's not forget that. So you've got to go further into the Earth's crust to retrieve precious metals and, of course, base metals. So it's not unusual to see tragedy, and that always impacts price. So, you know, while we say that there's sensitivity as far as, you know, the miners are having, they may not see those glory days back again, I still think there's still a long time horizon.
Do the Chinese, if their strategy on nickel is any guide, do the Chinese, though, just step back whilst you've got the supply outage, because inevitably that's only going to put upward pressure on things? They're not going to want to buy at elevated levels.
No, but that's for copper. But we roll that across to zinc, and the State Reserve Bureau, which is the Chinese buyer out there, they haven't been in the market traditionally in the nickel market since around about 08, 09, which is very fascinating. They're a contrarian player. They're buying at these lows. Remember that nickel hit a headline number of 52,000 a metric tonne, then it collapsed to about 8,000 or 9,000. So that shows the price volatility. So this is again what miners have to be cognizant of, and I think, you know, the true retail public. But they're buying in, and they're forcing prices, and they're back at about 15,300 a metric tonne as of this morning.
Just, you know, staying with that sort of demand side of things, what did you make of the US data? I mean, there was a lot of focus, obviously, on the manufacturing read that we had, that ISM print below 50, well below expectations.
Well, exactly right, Bridie. I mean, we haven't seen below 50 since the hurricane struggle, really, that massive storm on the northeast coast going back to November. Now, everyone was expecting 50.7. We came in at 49. They're saying that they should see a stronger second half of the year, but traditionally, I think it really hit people between the eyes, showing that 49, you know, are we going to see a further contraction? Retail sales, everything flows off the ISM number, and that really is impacting, I think, you know, the market at the moment. So it's certainly showing a little bit of nervousness. And
you've got that, I suppose, outage on the Hill because Washington is not spending.
Yeah.
And so that almost compounds the problem.
Well, exactly.
The Fed doing what it can, but what more can it do?
Well, it's damn hard. I mean, you know, and then you've got a rising US dollar as well. So, look, there's certainly many levers being pulled at the moment, and everyone's saying, are the Fed, you know, over the summer period going to, you know, wind the clock back a little bit or wind the lever back? There's two voices out there, and I think as long as everyone's very much front and centre focused on the payroll number that will be released this week. So let's just see what happens there. But if it's weaker than expected, I wouldn't be surprised to see, you know, more stimulus further on, or just a continuance.
By which you mean 160 or less, because that's the call, isn't it? Which is not enough. That's
exactly.
You need the 200k to even just kind of keep levels where they're at.
You've got a massive amount of kids leaving school each year, and that's just, and of course longevity in the work, well, longevity in life, and then of course that rolls across to longevity of workforce. So, you know, you need more people employed, and you know, and you just see every sector going or hemorrhaging. Where do the jobs come from? Innovation, entrepreneurship, and there needs to be tax concessions for those.
Peter, always great to get your thoughts. Thank you so much for coming in today.
Cheers, Carson.
Peter McGuire there from NG Farah.
We're going to take a really short break. More on the other side, second hour of the show.